This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. For this is the day that the Lord has made. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
A reading from the book of Genesis. Jacob departed from Beersheba and proceeded toward Haran. When he came upon a certain shrine, as the sun had already set, he stopped there for the night. Taking one of the stones and the shrine, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep at that spot. Then he had a dream. A stairway rested on the ground, with his top reaching to the heavens, and God's messengers were going up and down on it. And there was the Lord, standing beside him and saying, I, the Lord, am the God of your forefather Abraham, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you are lying, I will give to you and to your descendants. These shall be plentiful as the dust of the earth, and through them you shall spread out east and west, north and south. In you and your descendants, all the nations of the earth shall find blessing. Know that I am with you. I will protect you wherever you go and bring you back to this land. I will never leave you until I have done what I promised you. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he exclaimed, Truly, the Lord is in this spot, although I did not know it. In solemn wonder he cried out, How awesome is this shrine! This is nothing else but an abode of God, and that is the gateway to heaven. Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone and he had put under his head, set it up as a memorial stone, and poured oil on top of it. He called the site Bethel, whereas the former name of the town had been Luz. Jacob then made this vow, If God remains with me to protect me on this journey I am making, and to give me enough bread to eat and clothing to wear, and I come back safe from my father's house, the Lord shall be my God. This stone that I have set up as a memorial stone shall be God's abode. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
In you, my God, I place my trust.
In you, my God, I place my trust.
You who dwell in the shelter of this Most High, who abide in the shadow of the Almighty, say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. In you, my God, I place my trust. For he will rescue you from the snare of the fowler, from the destroying pestilence. With his pinions he will cover you, and under his wings you shall take refuge. In you, my God, I place my trust. Because he clings to me, I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he acknowledged my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in distress. In you, my God, I place my trust. Alleluia, alleluia. Our Savior, Jesus Christ, has destroyed death and brought life to light through the gospel.
Alleluia, alleluia.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
While Jesus was speaking, an official came forward and knelt before him and said, "My daughter has just died, but come, lay your hand on her and she will live." Jesus rose and followed him, and so did his disciples. A woman suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years came up behind him and touched the tassel of his cloak. She said to herself, "If only I can touch his cloak, I will be cured." Jesus turned around and saw her and said, "Courage, daughter, your faith has saved you." And from that hour, the woman was cured. When Jesus arrived at the official's house and saw the flute players and the crowd who were making a commotion, he said, "Go away. The girl is not dead, but sleeping." And they ridiculed him. When the crowd was put out, he came and took her by the hand, and the little girl arose. And news of this spread throughout the land. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
We gather together today. We hear one of the great stories, I think, from the book of Genesis. This encounter that Jacob has with God. And the wonder of it, and certainly what I relate to, is when he awakes from his dream and he says, "God was in this place and I did not know it." God was in this place and I did not know it. And I think I certainly can identify with that. That God is ever present to us. The problem is, we don't always see it. We don't always feel or experience it. But in this intense encounter and dream, God connects him herself to Jacob completely and fully, promising to journey with Jacob, keeping him safe through all that life brings. And Jacob, for his part, it finally dawns on him, God is present. But then Jacob enters into what I call a conditional relationship with God. And he says, if God journeys with me, if God keeps me safe, if God gives me food, if God protects me, if God brings me back here alive, then that will be my God. That's a conditional relationship. And hopefully, all of us can hear what was spoken to Jacob and allow it to penetrate our hearts. God is ever present to us. God ever journeys with us, leading us into the fullness of life. I've had to labor in my own faith to remove the word if. To remove the word if. And simply trust that God is ever present, ever caring, ever loving, and ever providing. Jacob ends up learning to trust God. And for him, the if, over time, leads. Ask yourself, in your relationship with God, are the conditions, is the word if ever present? And if it is, our great challenge is to learn to live beyond